General Blaine Holt is joining us, a former U.S. Deputy Military Representative to NATO. Janatan Sayeh is an Iran program research analyst at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. Gentlemen, thank you. We appreciate that. Janatan, let me start with you. So we need to understand at least what was on the table and what they could not agree on. So we'll pull up that. This is B-22 control. So the reported U.S. terms for the Iran deal are these: destroy all nuclear sites, hand over all enriched uranium to the United States, zero enrichment capability, minimal upfront sanctions relief, no sunset clauses. They haven't reached a deal, Janatan, on this, though we've heard, it's been reported, progress was made. Talk to us about the terms of this deal. Is this even possible for Iran?
So the red line, of course, on both sides continues to be nuclear uranium enrichment, of course, and that is the first step towards weaponization. The idea that if they were to maintain their centrifuges, they can actually move very quickly from 3% to 20% and eventually to 90%, which is weapons grade. Now, the real question here is that has a strike previously changed regime behavior to make them provide more concessions? We know the Islamic Republic is increasingly more fragile. They're very, very concerned. Now, in this particular context, we have to look at the Operation Midnight Hammer. In order for us to build on those successes, it's questionable whether we should even be engaging this regime diplomatically. Now, we are at that point, unfortunately. But talking about the details, of course, Tehran has not provided any concessions because they look at Gaddafi, they look at any disarmament as a sign of weakness. Of course, they see their nuclear program as their main leverage. And if they were to give that up, and if we listen to the Supreme Leader's speech, again, we hear the same negative remarks and, of course, paired with anti-American really threats being issued by Tehran.
General Holt, in this case, you don't follow the money. I follow the bodies and the bombs. And the information that I'm getting is that the Iranian leadership has gone into bunkers. They have dispersed their naval assets. They have moved their mobile missile launchers into firing positions. And they have told the military that they are on high alert. This as the protests continue. What do you think is happening?
Yeah, so they have to project strength in two directions. They want to show that they're ready to take on Israel and the United States and its allies, but they also are trying to project strength to the revolutionaries who want to topple the regime, and this is the closest they've ever been to doing so. And so by putting all these assets into position, by saying we're ready to go to war, by making all these statements in social media that seem threatening to us, it's really to reassure the people that they have their thumb on them and that they are very much in control, and nobody's buying it. And so as we see, you know, the big theme of these negotiations to me is the word disingenuous. The Ayatollah and the mullahs have no desire, and they're not going to give up anything that we need them to. They continue to slaughter their people. And the best they can come up with last night is some sort of business sweeteners to hope to allure President Trump into a sweet business deal, and we'll give you this, that, and the other thing. And it's all garbage. And by the way, this weekend, night vision goggles, perfect illumination from the moon. And once the markets close today, you know, we're going to be in a zone where it's possible that we may see something occur, especially if the administration has decided that you guys aren't serious about anything.
The State Department ordering those, or rather allowing those at the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem to leave. But the key to that statement that was put out by Ambassador Huckabee was the urgency of it to do so today, to get out today. That's what stuck out to me, Janatan. Not only that, the naval assets, and here you see from the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem what I'm referencing, but not only that, the naval assets in and around that area, it's seemingly in a strike perimeter. But it's also said from Iran's foreign minister and others that they could strike. This would be bad because there are obviously U.S. military forces in that region. Janatan, how do you read this and what this could look like this weekend should a strike occur?
At this point, it's like you pointed out, it is not a matter of when, but it's more so a matter of how. So we know the buildup in the region does not resemble a limited strike like Operation Midnight Hammer. Is looking like an extensive campaign. This is not to say it's going to go on for months or years like Iraq or Afghanistan. It should be done evidently much quicker. So, of course, it always comes down to sequencing. That is similar to what's conducted during the 12-day war by Israel. The first pillar is to ensure that the Islamic Republic cannot retaliate, which is why we would have to go after the missile silos, ensure that we take out any launchers that would be carrying out these attacks. Now, quickly after that, the sequencing is important because we need to message to the average Iranian that the time is now for them to rise up, similar to what the president did during the protest wave, and Iranians were actually receptive to that.
Yeah.
So it's really about timing and making sure that we can leverage this ongoing momentum on the ground. Because as the president noted, as the opposition leader of Iran's movement mentioned, and as Iranians on the ground say, there is no expectation of U.S. boots on the ground. Effectively, Iranians are the boots on the ground, and it's really about how we can capitalize on that to ensure that we're not going to get dragged into something longer, number one. Number two, we want to ensure that we really neutralize the threat from the Islamic Republic.
Yeah.
Bombing them does remove their capability, but it does not remove their intent to weaponize, to target Americans at home and abroad, and of course, to move with weaponization. We need to neutralize that and ensure a regime in Tehran is, number one, destroyed, and we see a government where it's really representative of Iranian national interest and acts like a U.S. really ally in a turbulent region that is increasingly anti-American and anti-Israel.
General Holt, we have a lot of military families that watch our programs, and so they will likely have people in their family who are over there now, either stationed on a base around the Middle East or on those warships. What capability does the Iranian military have in terms of attacking our forces?
They have capability. They should be taken seriously. This is not a zero-risk endeavor whatsoever. We are the superior military force, but we can take losses here, and we certainly understand that. The good news is that we have the best military in the world, bar none. The U.S. Air Force Navy team knows exactly how to do an air campaign like this. Our bases know how to be resilient, and so I want to assure the family members that every single thing that can be done to minimize the risk to your loved one has been taken. Now, wait a minute. You families at home and all Americans, don't forget that there are Iranian terror cells working in conjunctions with cartels here at home in the United States.
Right.
See something, say something, head on a swivel, be resilient. Don't be fearful, but definitely understand that this war doesn't necessarily have to remain foreign.
That's an excellent point to bring up, that here in the homeland, we still need to be, and perhaps now especially so, very aware. General Blaine Holt, thank you. Janatan Sayeh, thank you very much also.